Coming up on today's Philadelphia 76ers now, Joel Embiid with some interesting comments and an interview with Maverick Carter. Is he going to demand a trade at some point down the road? We also have a new James Harden update and the Sixers signing Filip Petrusev to a standard NBA contract. First, though, make sure you subscribe to the show for year-round Sixers coverage. We are approaching 12,000 subscribers. We are less than 500 people away from reaching that milestone. And if you're looking for year-round Sixers content, we have you covered. Let's continue to grow the 76ers Now community here at Chat Sports. So let's begin with this Joel Embiid trade request. Had some interesting remarks in an interview with Maverick Carter, and this is something that's been taking off on social media. Here's the direct quote from Embiid. We'll pick it apart. I have some thoughts on it. And I think that there are some realistic components to Embiid being frustrated about his Sixers tenure over the last couple of years. And if it becomes disastrous this upcoming season, this could come to fruition. Here's a quote from Embiid. I just want to win a championship. I don't know where that's going to be, whether it's in Philadelphia or anywhere else. I just want to have a chance. Now, we have seen that loyalty only last so long in the NBA. Look no further this offseason than Bradley Beal and Damian Lillard. Bradley Beal remained loyal to the Washington Wizards up until the point where he realized it was a dead-end franchise and he had to go somewhere else in order to fully tap into his potential as an individual, but to win an NBA championship. And with Damian Lillard, time and time again, anytime he was mentioned in a trade idea or a trade rumor, he would say, I am loyal to the team that identified me coming out of Weber State. I'm staying with the Portland Trailblazers. Then it got to a situation where Dame realized that the Trailblazers are not serious championship contenders. So he demanded a trade, and at some point soon, he is probably going to get dealt. Joel Embiid has the right to be frustrated with the 76ers. He has been through a lot during his Sixers tenure. He was deemed the face of the process. He missed his first 2 seasons because of respective injuries. He had to overcome the tragic loss of his brother. Ben Simmons was a total flake. Jimmy Butler left when he wanted him to come back and developed a great friendship with him. He was also really tight with J.J. Redick, who the Sixers also let go. And they have had all of these shortcomings in the playoffs. The quadruple bounce on Kawhi Leonard's shot against the Toronto Raptors, and time again, they have choked when it means a lot and when it matters the most in the playoffs. And my stance has been this with Joel Embiid. If the Sixers don't figure it out, I think Embiid is going to ask out soon. And if they can't come to a solution with James Harden, or Embiid isn't able to get a co-star, or this upcoming season they fail once again to make it past the second round of the playoffs, which they have not done for this organization since 2001, and he doesn't get along with Nick Nurse, and Daryl Morey doesn't make the right moves to make the Sixers championship contenders with Embiid, 29 years old, soon to be 30, at the peak of his powers, coming off an MVP season, then he might ask out to go to a more stable organization that has a better chance of winning a title, and then he can rid himself of all of these playoff choke jobs and start anew in his career and just get that fresh start that he might need to kind of rejuvenate himself to a certain degree. And if the Sixers do collapse this year, do Embiid's frustrations finally take over? At the same time within this argument, though, I do have to say this, and the numbers that we're about to show you certainly back this up. Embiid has to be accountable for his own failures and his own shortcomings because there have been a lot of those for this team in the NBA playoffs as well. Now, for an acquiring team, or for the Sixers if he does stay here, here's a look at his contract that goes through the next couple of years. $46.9 million this upcoming season. The following year, $50.5 million. The year after that, 2025-2026, $54.5 million. There is a player option worth about $58 million in 2026-2027. Then he becomes a free agent depending on what happens with that player option at 34 years old in 2027-2028. So if a team does trade for Embiid and he continues to stay healthy and very productive, a little bit of a concern given the age and the injury history, he's going to be under team control for the next few years to maybe chase a title with that acquiring squad. Past 4 regular seasons, though, we have seen Embiid progressively get better and better and better. 2019-2020, plays in 51 games, 23 points per, 11.5 rebounds. He's always solidified himself as one of the best defensive players in the NBA, a great rim protector, a great athlete, a guy who can score at all 3 levels. And then when Doc Rivers comes to town, that's when Embiid really solidified himself as one of the elite players in this league. Finished runner-up behind Nikola Jokic in 2020-2021 and the following season when he did lead the NBA in scoring at 30.5 points per game. And then this past year, led the NBA in scoring once again. What he's able to do at 7 feet truly is magical. The problem, though, is that he's either always injured in the playoffs or his numbers are subpar from what we're accustomed to seeing in the NBA playoffs. He's played well, but the last 2 playoffs have not been good, and both have resulted in second-round oustings against the Miami Heat 2 years ago, this past year against the Boston Celtics. What was unfortunate about that Celtics series in Game 5, when the Sixers take that 3-2 lead, he was a magician on the floor. Absolutely unstoppable. And then the next couple of games in that series, he was not good in Game 6 and 7 and failed to put forward an effort in that Game 7. It was despicable. But in 2020, 2021, and the season before that, we've seen Embiid put up crazy numbers throughout the playoffs. But that 2019-2020 season was when Ben Simmons got hurt in the NBA bubble. The Sixers got swept by Boston, so the numbers really didn't mean all that much at the end of the day. Missed playoff games and missed regular season games. This also continues to be an issue. Now, if the Sixers move on from him, they get back a bevy of assets. They can rebuild this organization around Tyrese Maxey. For the acquiring team, though, the injury history is a little bit of a concern, as Embiid has missed a lot of playoff time as well. Let me just say this, right? If it comes to a situation in which Embiid asks out, if this upcoming season is a disaster, the Sixers either get ousted in the first or second round, does it make sense to trade Joel Embiid while his value is high, get back a bevy of player assets and draft capital, and start to rebuild around Tyrese Maxey? Tyrese Maxey entering the final year of his contract this upcoming season, where there is that restricted free agency tag looming heading into next year. You could build around Maxey, and this organization could be in a good spot considering the ascent that we've seen from Maxey if this year is a disaster. Also, what you have to factor in here, who cares and who knows how this upcoming season is going to result in, right? But if Joel Embiid is playing with James Harden, Tobias Harris this year, and it doesn't work out, do you move on from Harden? Do you move on from Tobias Harris? That opens up a ton of money to maybe build this team around Embiid and Maxey to appease those 2 guys, and then you start anew while still being somewhat of a contender. Obviously, all avenues that the Sixers could explore depending on how this season ends up. So do these Embiid comments, concern you at all? I'm talking at all. C for concern, N for no worries. That's today's pinned comment and our poll question, so please let us know what you think about these Embiid comments down in that comment section. And Joel Embiid just tweeted this out before I threw on the headset for today's show. Somebody was like, that wasn't needed when you said I could win a championship here or somewhere else. He said, buddy, check my middle name. It's Troel, meaning he's a troll on Twitter. Who knows what Embiid was thinking? Who knows what he meant? But he did take to Twitter to speak for himself after that interview was taken over on social media. All right, this deal from our friends at Fanatics, absolutely fantastic. The Sixers t-shirt shorts combo, it was $60. Now on sale for just $33. Look fresh in the summer and rep the 76ers at chatsports.com/76ers combo. We'll put that link in the comment section and in the description of this video. Wouldn't be doing my job if I wasn't giving you a latest James Harden update. And I know a lot of you are very tired of hearing of the beard, but look, it's my job to inform the people. Adrian Wojnarowski, ESPN, saying over the weekend that Daryl Morey's asking price for Harden is, quote, exorbitant, meaning it's a lot right now. Here's a direct quote from Woj on the ESPN airwaves. His asking price, Daryl Morey's, is exorbitant. Teams are not engaging with the Sixers with the kind of asks that Daryl Morey is asking for James Harden. That's where Daryl Morey always starts in trade talks, really, really high. Over time, perhaps you work him back down, but like Ben Simmons, there's hope on the Sixers side that eventually at some point they can get James Harden on board about being in Philadelphia in the last year of his deal, this opt-in that he did at $35.5 million. Now, they may get to training camp, and it may look different in Philly. They may have a James Harden who is not as enthusiastic about his return as they are, and then maybe they get more serious about it. But right now, I think the Harden talks, like Lillard, are going to linger into the summer. And with that Dame point there at the end from Woj, look, that doesn't do the Sixers any favors because Damian Lillard is the better player. He's the more valuable player than James Harden. So in turn, in a way, it kind of diminishes and damages the value that James Harden has on the trade market because teams would rather give up assets and trade for Dame over James Harden right now. Also, this about Daryl Morey's asking price. My advice to anybody out there in any type of negotiation, regardless of what field you're in, you always start the asking price high, and then you come down from there. If you meet up with your bosses and you're looking to get a pay increase, you always start really high and maybe more than the number than you want, then you come down from there because then coming down to that number might be the more realistic and feasible number for you to get that pay grade. The same can be said for Daryl Morey and these negotiations in this James Harden trade. He's talking about a top 75 player of all time, a guy who led the NBA in assists last year and can give you 20, 10, and 8 on any given night. But with this James Harden talk, look, I've seen you all chirping down in the comment section. I see you saying, Chase, every single day there's a James Harden update, which isn't true because not every single day is there a James Harden update. When there is one, though, it is my job, it is my duty as the host of a 76ers channel to give you an update on James Harden. So you can talk all you want. I'm going to continue to do my job because I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't provide you updates with James Harden and the current situation in Philadelphia. Couple of roster transactions that I want to get to before we hop on out of here. This one made official this morning that the Sixers have signed Filip Petrusev, the 50th pick in the 2021 draft, a draft and stash at the time out of Gonzaga, to a standard NBA contract. His agent did say, as we talked about last week, that if he was not signed to a standard NBA contract, he would go back to the EuroLeague, played in the Salt Lake City Summer League, and then 2 games in Las Vegas where he averaged 12.5 points per game, 4.5 rebounds, 2.5 blocks. I'm not sure he's an NBA player, does have some solid instincts at protecting the rim. Nice little push shot with some touch from about 13 feet in. Doesn't really have much of a jumper. Did shoot the three-pointer in the EuroLeague, though. We'll see if that translates to the NBA level. I think he needs that, given his lack of athleticism. He's 23 years old, for those of you who don't know. Originally from Serbia, second-round 50th pick in 2021. Played at Gonzaga from 2018 to 2020. That 2019-2020 season, that was when Gonzaga lost like 2 regular season games, I believe. He averaged like 17.5 points per game, has been playing in the EuroLeague since then. And the Sixers right now have 5 bigs on their roster at that center position. Now, Mo Bamba can play center or forward, I believe. Paul Reed, I think it would be ideal if he can play forward, but these guys also listed as centers: Embiid, Mo Bamba, Paul Reed, Montrezl Harrell, Filip Petrusev. I highly doubt that they are going to carry 5 centers on this roster that is going to be occupied with 15 guys, but as of right now, that's what it's looking like in the front court for Philly. The Sixers also signing another Summer League player, Azuolas Tubelis, to a 2-way contract as well. His numbers by no means all that impressive throughout the Summer League, but a training camp body nonetheless, and a guy who can go back and forth because of that 2-way Delaware Bluecoats and to the NBA level. If you're still rocking with us on this fine Monday, give me a real one down below. We appreciate all of you for watching. A reminder, probably going to try to go live later on Monday afternoon. I'm thinking about 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Pacific. That's why you subscribe. Turn on your noties. Therefore, anytime we go live, anytime we push out a video, you will be notified for year-round Sixers content right here on the show.